Alright, what's up traders? So today I have a new market update for you guys. We are going to take a look at Btc USD. We're going to take a look and follow up on the altcoins from yesterday. Maybe we will add one or two to the list, who knows, if we see something interesting. And we will also follow up on the EURUSD trade from yesterday. Alright, so let's see if we can find anything interesting on the charts. Alright guys, so welcome to another market update. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Gbpusd who's sponsoring the channel. If you haven't already, please go to the Gbpusd exchange. You can find a link in the description below of this video, and just hold on a minute. Drop my pen. And in the link below that link, in the description of this video, you will find a promo code for Gbpusd, and they will actually double your deposit. So yeah, check it out guys, it's pretty cool. Alright, so first up is Btc USD on Bitstamp here. So as always, shorting Bitstamp on Bitcoin. Shorting Bitcoin on Bitstamp. Why am I using Bitstamp? Well, it has a lot of price history. It has a lot of price data. I like to look back and see how the moving averages are looking in the high time frames, and the Bitstamp has a lot of action. So I like to use it when I do my high time frame analysis, and yeah, this is obviously I like to watch different charts. I like to chart it on Gbpusd, on Bitstamp, because Bitstamp and BitMEX, because BitMEX has a lot of volume, right? I'm not trading on BitMEX, I'm trading on Gbpusd, but I like to check all the charts to see if I can find confluence, right? So the main exchange I chart Bitcoin on is Bitstamp. I trade on Gbpusd. I chart it on Binance and BitMEX too. Alright, so let's look at the weekly here. Are we seeing anything new? Well, I mean, it's not looking great. It's not looking too bad. The weekly isn't really telling me much, other than we're actually getting, you know, we're still seeing that possible trend reversal that I've been talking about. And considering that the weekly trend is actually down, we're not being able to, we haven't been able to actually form a new uptrend on the weekly time frame. And you know, that kind of makes me feel that longing here would be longing into high time frame resistance, right? And I've been telling you guys that all along. If you are going to long in this area, you need to take profits at least 10k and 10.5k, because those are going to be high time frame resistance. They are high time frame resistance, and they're most likely going to act as high time frame resistance going forward. And they are going to 100% be resistance, obviously, until they're not, right? It would be wise to take some profits up there. However, if we see a strong up move and a break of 10.5k up here, that's going to be a possible new weekly uptrend for Bitcoin. So keep your eyes on this level, and you could make it bigger. And I'm going to show you the bigger resistance area in my next chart. And by the way, if you haven't already, if you like my videos and you want to see more contents like this, I'm trying to do market updates every day. So the plan is to update you guys on everything I'm doing in the market every day. Every single day I want to give you updates on Bitcoin, on altcoins, and on the Forex markets, and whatever other markets I find interesting at this moment. So if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. A small gesture from you that will help this channel grow, and with the growth of this channel comes more content, and I can become more, you know, more professional in my content creation. I've actually just picked up a new webcam. Obviously, you're still watching me on the old camera, and to be honest, I had the new camera, but they're late with my green screen. I was supposed to get it delivered today, but I'm getting it delivered tomorrow. And honestly, I don't want you guys to see this background. It's I'm rebuilding a room in the basement, and yeah, I need that green screen. All right, so let's head over to well, first of all, let's look at the daily here. So the daily trend still up, but we are seeing you know, like I've been telling you guys, we're seeing a possible trend reversal here. I do not really like to call this a, I mean, technically it is a higher high on a daily, but I don't really like to see this, right? I'm viewing these as, you know, local, you know, equal highs. And as soon as we get a lower low, that's going to be a 100% confirmed bearish market structure on the daily. And that's also going to confirm, you know, the continuation of this weekly high time frame downtrend, right? So be careful, guys, be careful. You do not want to long right into high time frame resistance. You want to be careful and you want to find a good entry. When you're longing into high time frame resistance, that's when your entry level is going to be so much more important, because you need to really factor in that you're trading against the trend. You're not trading against the daily trend, but you're trading, I mean, sure, longing down here, that would make sense, right? Longing in you know, in this area, because there's this, I mean, sure, you're longing into resistance, but you're still longing, you know, a long way from the high time frame, you know, breakout point area level, or whatever you want to call it. So but right here we are really at a crucial area for Bitcoin, so longing here, you need to be careful. Now let's go down into the lower time frames to see if we can actually find a decent entry if you actually want to long here. So in a couple of, I think maybe the last market update I did, or the one before that, I was talking about a short setup, and honestly, I you know, the technicals were all right, but the Fed came out and, you know, started their money printing machine with their unlimited supply of capital to just pour into the market, and they, you know, they announced that they were going to start to day trade stocks and basically just buy up a lot of American companies, right? So, well, not buy up American companies, but you know what I mean, right? That kind of, you know, we saw this dump in Bitcoin and S&P, and you know, in basically every legacy market. And with that announcement from the Fed, we saw a pretty sharp move up, and that quickly invalidated my short setup. Now, honestly, you might have understood now that I'm a bit more bearish bias on Bitcoin. And let me explain why. Well, first of all, we have the daily 21 EMA right here. We haven't really reclaimed that yet, and some people might say that this is a reclaim. Well, it's not a reclaim, because this last daily candle is now trading below the 21 EMA daily. So this could very well be a daily fake out of the 21 EMA on the daily. What you want to see, so to really confirm the 21 EMA on the daily as reclaimed, is a daily open and close above, right? So a daily open and close above the 21 EMA on the daily will I gotta take a minute and actually think about what I'm trying to say here, but I think it's pretty clear. Daily open and close above the 21 EMA on the daily will confirm it as reclaimed. And it will also be a pretty clear show of strength, right? Look at the 4-hour here. You're seeing a pretty clear 4-hour trend here, with the range EQ being confluent with the 21 EMA daily here. So I can show you the daily trend, the daily range I'm watching too. But right now, this is like the 4-hour range that I'm watching. We have, you know, down here we bounced off the 55 EMA in a daily, confluent with range low. We're now struggling to get above range EQ and the daily 21 EMA. This right here is a 4-hour fake out of the range EQ. So right now, we're below the range EQ on this 4-hour. We're below the 21 EMA daily. It's bearish on the lower time frames. Now let's go over to BTC USD on Binance. I want to show you something here. First, I want to watch the volume here. All right. So one thing that would be, would indicate that the bears are in control here is the fact that with every red candle is actually bigger than the green ones, right? So every bearish move has way more volume than the bullish moves, right? And we never really saw this one close above this one, so it's still signaling that the bears are in control of this range. And the fact that we are right now trading below the VPVR value high, or the point of control, right? And basically what that is showing where most of the volume is taking place inside this range, and it's this area, right? And the POC is right here, the red line. We're struggling to get above that one. Let's add the moving averages to this chart. You will also notice that the 21 EMA daily is confluent with that area. That's also the area that's being used as a range EQ on the 4-hour range. So the fact that we now this is where it becomes a little bit tricky, right? So the fact that we never really closed a daily below range EQ is a bullish thing, right? But the fact that we can't reclaim the 21 EMA in a daily and this POC on the VPVR makes me think that as long as we are trading below the 21 EMA in a daily and this red line with the volume looking like this, I'm not really so sure that this is such a bullish sign, because we might very well just get a move like that. And that's when the short idea from yesterday or the day before, I can't remember honestly, probably was the day before, the short setup from the last idea I had might be in play again, right? Because this is not really a confident move for Bitcoin, right? So again, I'm still looking for that range low action. I really am. And if we fail to reclaim the 21 EMA in a daily and start seeing the bearish structure, I mean, this area becomes a good shorting opportunity again, honestly. Where would you stop be? Well, somewhere above this area. I know there's some people who's in a short at this very moment, and I would look at this area for a stop loss placement. But very risky to long here because of the reasons I've just listed, and it's very risky to short also because we are above the range EQ on a daily. All right, so that's BTC USD. Let's move over to a couple of altcoins. So we're going to start off by taking a look at Algo. Has anything changed on Algo since yesterday? Not really. We're still ranging between this support and this resistance. I do think that Algo is looking very good, and if we get a breakout out of this red box resistance around 2600, I do think longing the first retest with a rounded retest after daily open and close above is a very, very good idea. Bad BTC, we are still struggling to get above the 200 simple on the daily. It's we really need to reclaim this area, right? And for bad BTC, I think this is just a possible, it's just a beautiful altcoin, honestly. And if you look at the weekly time frame here, it's just the upside potential on this one and this clean range. I'm just thinking, it's just, I like it, right? And the fact that we have bounced inside this long RLC. And by the way, speaking of RLC, I've just recorded a educational video on the RLC, how I find it, how I draw it, and how I trade it. I'm going to be uploading that hopefully tonight or tomorrow. Maybe I'll wait for the green screen actually and record a new one with the actual green screen. And started recording some educational material for you guys. I will have a new playlist ready in a couple of days called the Introduction to Technical Analysis or something like that. Basically what that means is I'm going to upload video on a regular basis with new content, probably a couple of times every week, at least once a week, with a new TA concept where I explain it and how I use it in my trading. I'm only going to stick with stuff that I'm actually using, right? I'm only going to stick with stuff that I'm actually using and stuff that I actually think makes sense, right? And I don't really want to teach you anything that I'm not using, because if I'm not using it, that's probably a reason for me not to use it. And honestly, I have a hard time explaining stuff that I'm not, I'm trying to master the simplicity of trading, and that's what I want to show you guys. Trading can be very simple. The hard part is the psychological aspect of trading. All right, let's go back to the alts. AMD BTC. All right, by the way, I've added music to the videos. I don't know if that's like retarded or not, but if you guys like it, leave a like, a comment below if you like it. If you don't like it, I'll just remove it. I don't know, man. Maybe it just feels stupid. I don't know. Whatever you guys like. And yeah, so here we saw a pretty nice move from KMD. If you remember from my last market update from yesterday, I said that we were now coming back into the entry area here. And honestly, like, I mean, it's not a bad retest, honestly, down here. So I like this bounce. If you can reclaim this green area again, I think we have a trade, and the trade would most likely look something like this, right? I do really like this. That's almost a 2R down up to this order block EQ right here. So I like that. I like that a lot. Troy. Take a look at Troy. We're still outside of the RLC. Is it looking good? Not well. I mean, it's not looking bad, but it's not looking perfect. We're still moving up. We're still moving outside of the RLC. We're still closing dailies outside of the RLC, slightly above the entry area. Troy's looking okay. I mean, yeah, I like it, right? So one BTC. Let's see. What do we have on one BTC? Well, we're trading right inside this red box resistance right here. We need to see a daily open and close above this, just like I've showed you yesterday. Nothing have changed on this one. Civic, CVC, BTC. Now, this is interesting. Like, I would like to see this whole range get cleared. And it kind of looks like we are starting to see something here, right? We reclaimed the lower part of this resistance area in the lower time frames. We bounced off it, but the price action is just way too sharpy up here. You don't want to trade something that looks like this, right? You want to trade something that looks like this with a rounded retest. You know, you want that rounded motion, right? That's what you want to trade. You don't want to trade this shit, right? You want clean, simple, logical price action. RVN BTC. This is actually something I'm watching for a possible trade, because I do really love this area here below. Alright, so not really sure about this one right now. I would like to see a rounded retest on a 4-hour. We're not really that close to have a rounded retest right now. This might have been the actual bounce that I was looking for, because it's confluent with these highs here. But the risk to reward ratio, and technically it's just such a nice level here. And also, if you add the RLC from the low of this up move to the high of this up move, you will find that the 618 comes in pretty nicely at this breakout area. So I do think we are likely to see a retrace down to this area. Now the question is, will we bounce? Well, you never know, right? I mean, trading is a game of probabilities, right? And is it probable that we will get a bounce down here? Yeah, it is, because it's the last resistance. I mean, it's resistance, right? It's previous resistance, and previous resistance on the first retest will have the highest probability of turning into support. And when it turns into support, you will most likely see price continue the trend that it had before it actually broke out, right? So the trend on the 4-hour is obviously upwards prior to this breakout. Stop loss area on this one. Well, it's a bit tricky. You want to have like a, this is like the obvious stop loss area, right? This one. But I would like to have it below this area, just to be safe, just to be extra cautious, right? So I think this is a good area for a stop on that one. Take profits. Where do you want to take profits on this one? Let's see. Well, like, I try to always have my first take profit at a 2R. So this is going to be your entry. This is going to be your stop loss. Now, this is very important, guys. When choosing an entry, before you look for, like, first you look for an entry. But before you start looking for take profits area, you need to have a stop loss level before you even think about take profit areas. If the stop loss placement doesn't really make sense, if you can't find a good invalidation area for your trade, there's no idea taking the trade. I mean, there's no reason to enter anything if you see a great entry area and a great take profits, but your stop loss area is just very, very unclear. That's not a trade you should take. You should take the trades where the invalidation area is clean, clear, and logical. And you should take trades where entry, stop loss, and take profits makes as much sense as, you know, each other. So 2R, where do we have 2R on this one? Well, I mean, sure, so up here is the 2R. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one, honestly, because I mean, of course, you're buying down here because you hope that you will see this type of swing, right? So you're buying down here because you want this resistance above to break to the upside. But the problem then becomes that this area up here is going to be your first trouble area. And your first trouble area is usually where you put your first take profit. So I would like to have my profit taking here, and that's going to bring you up to 1.5. Now that is acceptable, right? It's not, I mean, it's above 1, and that's acceptable. What you have to do in this case is you have to calculate your average exit point to see that the average exit is actually over 2R if you're going to take profits like this. But I do think that, all right, it makes sense, right? It makes sense to take your first profit up here. The last, like, where I think this will run to is this general area above here. I'm going to zoom in to see, you know, if I can find a clear level, but it's quite obvious here why you want to take profits up here. Is the breakdown level acted as resistance. The next test is going to be the second one. You can expect to get a, you know, reversal or a reaction. I'm liking this. I mean, it's still a 25%, so it's all right. It's a good trade, right? So you want to take profits. Let's add the TP areas here. And if you are in the Gbpusd trading community, we will most likely, if we like this setup and if the team's analysis align with each other, we will most likely post a similar setup. Do not take the trade ideas that you see on my channel. You should not take them as, you know, exact trade ideas and exact calls or signals or setup or anything like that, because this one, like, I've spent about 5 or 10 minutes on this setup, right? And it needs more. It needs more. I need to add more tools like the moving averages. I want to find like the fib levers of the whole down move. I want to see if I can find any decent order blocks. I want to see like what the volume profile looks like. There's much more work involved in making this an actual setup. So if this, what you see right here, aligns with your technical analysis, because you need to make your own decisions, right? You need to do your own research and you need to apply your own technicals to what you're seeing right here, what I'm showing you. This is an outline. This is an overview of what I'm watching. This is a possible trade, a possible setup. But if I, for example, add the moving averages and it doesn't really align with this, I'm not sure if this is such a good setup. With that said, I like it, right? I do really like it. That's RVN BTC. Now let's end the well, not you know what, fuck it, I just lost my train of thought. Let's take a look at BTC Dominance. This is fucking beautiful right here. This is exactly what you want to see for alts to be in a possible risk on environment again. And let me just quickly show you how, like you might be thinking like, who is this guy talking about you know, risk on and risk off all the time? If you don't know what risk on and risk off is, I mean, so what it means when I say alts are risk on, it basically means that it's time to risk your capital on alts. When alts are risk off, it's time to back off and hold on to your capital and preserve your you know, take some profits and preserve your gains and preserve your positions or whatever, right? You know what I mean. So when the BTC dominance is falling, you are in a risk on environment for alts. But if it's falling and it's very, very close to support, I would be more hesitant, right? But if it's starting to fall and you have, like, if it's just starting to fail a support or fail to reclaim a resistance and it's starting a new market structure, that's when you really want to find good alt setups to hold for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, depending on how long the dominance chart is falling or rising, right? So let me quickly show you how the BTC dominance chart looks when alts are in a risk on environment. This is a risk on environment, right? This is a risk off environment. This is a clear risk on environment, right? Risk off here. You can kind of see the pattern here, right? So when the BTC dominance is showing bullish market structure, it's time to exit altcoins. When the BTC dominance is showing bearish market structure like we're seeing now, it's time to enter alts. Now we had some very, very nice alts movement here, but they started to fade here. And it's quite obvious what happened here. Bitcoin, the BTC dominance chart is trying to reclaim lost support, this red box resistance. Looking on the 4-hour, we have failed to reclaim this lost support. We have failed to reclaim that now, and it's acting as resistance. We are getting rejected, and like I showed you guys yesterday, I was talking about this double top here, this M structure. If we broke down bearish retest, and if we broke this area, this white line, this horizontal here, if we broke that to the downside, I think alts might actually be risk on again. So I do like this. That's what I'm hunting for, a couple of altcoins setups. Alright, so this market update is getting a bit long. I'm trying to keep these as short as possible, but sometimes there's just a lot of stuff to talk about. I want to take a look at EURUSD, right? So I've showed you this yesterday. We have a head and shoulders right here. Where is the head and shoulders? Right here, right? There we go. There's the head and shoulders on the 4-hour. This support area here, confluent with the neckline of the head and shoulders. And why is it called neckline, you might ask? Well, isn't it quite obvious? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. What's in this area on a human being? Well, it's neckline, right? God damn, I hope that's why you call it a neckline, because otherwise I would look like a idiot, right? But it makes sense, right? That's the area that I'm looking for a breakdown. I've actually started building a position on EURUSD with these two entries, this one, and woke up to some very happy news that both my orders have been filled perfectly. So I'm now in a small short position on EURUSD, and I'm looking to fill on this position if we get the breakdown of this area like this and a bearish retest. Take profit areas would be this area and this area. Let me show you why those areas are going to be take profit areas, because you have the breakout area here, you have the last highs pre-breakout. That's going to be my last take profit on this one. And honestly, you might get a reversal here and start another big up move. All right, so that's what I'm watching on EURUSD, and I think I might actually be done for today on this market update. So I'm gonna release this as quickly as possible. Let's just do a quick rundown of these. I'm in this one too, and it's looking quite good. I'm waiting for this to bounce down here to get out of the RLC. USD JPY, I am in a short on this one, but I'm not really liking this one. I might actually exit this one. EURUSD, Euro GBP, what's happening here? This idea did not turn out very well, obviously. So happening right here is we failed to hold this range EQ. We are seeing a bearish market structure. Might be interested in shorting this, but I don't know. I'm gonna take a close look at that one. Euro versus Australian dollar. GBP USD. Now this is a short I'm looking at. I'm not in a position on GBP USD at this moment, but this was a short I was looking at, right? But after doing some more analysis, I mean, look at this. Daily RSI was also almost oversold up here. We're getting this strong move. So this one would have been obviously a beautiful short entry. But I'm now looking for a breakdown of this area confluent with the 618. I would like to short this area for a move down to range EQ and possibly range low. Because usually what you get when you sweep range high is a full range resolution down to range low. So that's what I'm watching on this one. Right. GBP JPY. So I've been watching this for quite some time now, and I want to see this type of move, right? Round the retest, failed to hold. Right, so I want to enter on when you actually reclaim that area. So I do like this one. I do really like this one, but it's looking like we never really got the bounce that we were looking for. So now we need to see how price reacts to this level. If we can reclaim it for a round retest, that would be very nice, right? Also notice this very clear head and shoulders pattern-ish here, right? And you have the breakdown, you have the retest of the breakdown area, and actually, you know what? Let's see how this would actually turn out as an actual short setup. You would want to short the breakdown area around here. Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten filled on that one anyway, so that's but this is something I would play on this one. Well, actually, you would have gotten filled here, so that's because I have this low here, right? Candle closes. We get filled right there, and stop would be up here. Or take profit would be down in this area. But I would probably not take this trade because of the fact that we had this strong move right here. And when we saw this, I would probably think that we will reclaim that level. So risky short, but still liking the idea of that 4-hour head and shoulders, just like we're getting on EURUSD. Still looking for a possible long here on Australian dollar versus the US dollar. I really do think that this is a decent trade and decent long opportunity down here. I will be waiting for that. I will add an alert on this low to see what happens when we actually break that low to downside. And also, I want to see what happens when we get above this high right here. Gonna add in an alert on that one too. Australian dollar versus the US Canadian dollar, nothing. All right, so this one is still working in our favor. We had that perfect retest, perfect fill right there, and it's slowly. We failed to hold the neckline of this W, so I think we have more downside on Australian dollar versus JPY. CAD JPY, well, this turned out beautiful. We're getting that W pattern right here, and it kind of looks like we actually hold the neckline on this one, so we will most likely see some more upside on this one. So I think we took profits at the exact right time. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is dropping right now. Why is it dropping? I don't know why it's dropping, but it's well, it's not dropping too much. It's right at this support area right here. How's this looking? Not looking too good, not looking too bad. What I'm looking for is a breakout of the 740 area or a breakdown of the 1680 area. So break this area to the upside for a long, break this to the downside for a short. That's also why I have my alerts at those areas, as you can see, those orange lines here. Let's take a look at silver. This is actually a short I'm looking at on silver. I'm glad I actually pulled up the chart because this is actually looking like it might be time to short this one. So let's take a look at the daily time frame. And you know what? Let's just remove everything. I like to watch my charts. I want my charts clean, right? All right, so let's see the daily. Now, I think that this is most likely the short RLC, right? Let's see. Well, not really. Pretty damn close. So I'm gonna keep this on the chart because we're still seeing pretty decent reactions to the 786, and the 618 is going to be a interesting area for a possible take profit area. Well, actually, these lines up pretty nicely with these horizontals as our levels, so I can remove that one now to make the chart cleaner and actually find my levels better. So let's look at the weekly first and foremost. Let's add this as a level. So we have this one and we have this high daily. It doesn't make sense to have those marked out on the daily, and I really do think it makes a lot of sense to have that level marked out. As you can see, it's kind of I do really like that area. Now the last levels I had on, this is a good reason for why to actually, you know, remove everything from the chart once in a while and add new levels, because you will, every time you remove everything, you will see the chart from a different perspective, most likely, because you have new price action. And if you see something new, it's going to be easier to put it on the chart, unless, like, if you do not have a lot of other stuff on the chart. And yeah, so you need to sometimes just remove everything and watch the chart with a new, you know, new pair of eyes. So I'm liking this level, I really do, right? And why did I have a level up here? Let's see where do we have the moving averages on the daily? So the 21 EMA on the daily, beautiful, right here, right there, right there. And we did bounce up to 200 simple on a daily right here. Where's the weekly at? Right, so I mean, silver is as long as it holds this area that I've marked out on a weekly, it's looking quite strong, but we need to bounce. If we lose this level, it's looking weak, and we are most likely going lower. So 21 EMA in a daily is confluent with this lower part. I had a possible short entry in this region, and why is that? Why is that? Let's try to see if we can find that area. I really do think, I mean, it makes sense, but this is the area that we need to break down. So I'm going to mark out this area as support, and I'm going to add a couple of alerts to this area in case we break down. And I also want to add a couple of alerts in case we break out to form a bullish market structure. Right now in the 4 hour we're seeing bearish market structure. I want to get an alert when we have a confirmed break of this area, and I want to use this area. And where do I want an alert on, for more upside if we actually can see a bullish break in market structure? Well, I think a start would be reclaiming this area, right? So I'm going to put an alert above these highs here. All right, so I'm liking that for silver. I'm not going to short this one unless we see that type of move. And how would the setup look like? Short that area. Stop loss. You want a very, very wide stop loss probably up in that area. Or else you could probably have it here above. If this is the last swing high, you want it above that one and this area. That's a good level, right? Now, what I want to see is where is the daily 200 simple. So that's right there. All right, so does it make sense to have the level take profit here? Well, not really. It's only a 1.57 R, and I do think we are going to break down lower because you have this area right here acting as support. It's been tested 4 times already. Next time it's probably going to break down. So what I'm looking for in case we actually get a proper breakdown on gold, well, honestly, I could see this run all the way down to the breakout area, which is this right here. And why not, right? So that's going to be a very interesting trade, right? All the way down here. That's what I'm watching on silver. Gotta take profits on the way down. Profit taking would probably be here, here, and here. So for take profits, probably 25% on each, which would bring my average R to 3.3. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining, everyone, and see you guys next time, which should be tomorrow. And keep an eye on my channel for a new video on how to trade the RLC. I'm probably gonna upload a new one tomorrow, actually, because I really want my green screen and everything set up nicely before I start that new educational series. All right. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate all you guys and all the comments and all the positive feedback I'm getting. You guys rock. Thanks.